Hello everyone, welcome to D&D Night on DDOstream, right here on twitch.tv/DDOstream. Alright, now I'm live on Discord as well. Good night everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a good one. This is every Sunday night, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, D&D Night on DDOstream, D&D Tabletop by and for DDO players, sponsored by Fantasy Grounds. They've provided licenses. We're using Fantasy Grounds for tonight's one-off. Tonight is really going to be a pretty casual tabletop night. I just came back from a pretty lengthy vacation and had a lot going on in my life. Until recently, up to and including getting Saltmarsh out the door. Yes, on the Dungeons & Dragons Online side, we actually released our latest expansion, Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh here, and that was on Wednesday, so tonight's one-off might have something to do with it, but just let me say for the record, not that anyone would confuse this with a professional show, but I am the community manager for Standing Stone Games, and let me just say for the record, the events that transpire in tonight's episode are completely fictional and have nothing to do with any kind of canon that might be related to the person that you'll be interacting with here tonight. Also tonight, we've got 3 players with us. Let me introduce them. And when you're introducing yourself, introduce your character. Tell us a little bit about who they are, what they do, and we're also going to be answering a little bit of kind of character-related questions before we get going here tonight, because we just kind of sprung these characters on the group, and in some cases they were made ahead of time, but we still may have some questions kind of heading into tonight's actual tabletop game, so we're going to give everyone a chance to do that as well. But let me start off here with Groovy playing Chomp the Indigo.
Hi everybody, I'm Groovy and I'm playing Chomp the Indigo, who is a lizardman barbarian, so kind of like a humanoid alligator.
Alright, is it a lizard folk in terms of race?
Yep.
Cool.
And he wields a, generally his sword is, it's either a club or a sword depending on who you ask, but it's fairly historically accurate, loaded with obsidian chips on the edge for edges and stuff like that.
And Path of the Beast, I see. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure, he reaches into his inner bestial self and can manifest claws, even bigger jaws that he already has, or like a spiked tail that he can use.
In addition to the regular things you can do, you've got some bite attacks, kind of claw attacks, I think, as well. Basically jaw attacks that you can use throughout the combat here, periodically. It's an unarmed attack, but you can use it.
Yep, I've got both the ability from being a lizard person, and when raging, I could also use jaws in a different way. They both which give me additional option of biting and healing myself via the chomping.
And you're going to have to ask or tell me how you managed to get 20 con at level 3.
Lizardmen are incredibly tough.
All right, good enough. That works. All right, well, thanks. Also with us is Lynn playing Gabby.
Hi, everybody. This is Lynn. I will be playing Gabriella, or Gabby, who is a halfling wizard. And I now know about as much as you do, because I'm just now looking at my character.
It looks like it was a wizard spy, halfling. This is one that I didn't create, right? That maybe Alex created. Is that right?
Yeah, Alex creates my character. So I had challenged myself a while back to not always play the elf ranger. And so what I've been doing is just he loves building characters. So I let Alex build stuff, and then I look at it as we're starting.
Yeah, no problem. And we're just, like I say, we're just kind of springing this tonight and having a pretty casual game night, so that's cool. So it looks like you're a sort of criminal spy, which will lead well, I think, to the purpose of the character in the story here tonight. So that's looking pretty good.
And I'm informed. What is it called, Alex? I can roll. I roll 2 d20s, and I can replace. Like if you roll a 1, I can replace your roll with my roll. So, Alex, you can explain.
Well, it's a halfling, you get the luck, so if you roll a 1, you get to re-roll it.
In addition, she's also, because she's a divination specialist wizard, after a long rest, she rolls 2 d20s and basically writes down those numbers, and she can substitute them for rolls for either side.
Very nice. In terms of saves, damage?
Saves, attacks, skill checks.
And you have Misty Step. That might come in handy. Finally, here we've got Even with us. So, Even, you are playing, is it Chamomile? Chamomile?
Chamomile tea leaf. Yes, I know. Sad. She's a halfling fighter, and she was a sailor, according to her background, before she became an adventurer, and I'd kind of like to think that she was actually a pirate sailor.
That sounds good. That sounds good. What are the things you have? This is a level 3 character that I just sort of rolled up generic yesterday ahead of tonight's adventure. You have an action surge as a fighter here, so on your turn you can take 1 additional action on top of your regular action and a possible bonus action. Once you use the action surge feature, you need to finish a short rest before you can use it again. But you do have one of those, so you could take 1 additional action on top of your regular action and, the regular bonus action. Combat Superiority is one that's going to make a difference. I'm not going to make you pick the 3 maneuvers now. I will let you simply have up to 3 maneuvers from this list that you will use through the campaign tonight. Now you have 4d8 to use those maneuvers with. So like a 1d8, a 1d8, and then 2d8, right? If you're going to use all 3, for example. And each one of those is going to give you a whole bunch of different abilities that are modified by those d8s that you'll be spending. And if it gets to the saving throw calculation, and we can't do it automatically, we'll just roll the dice. It'll be 8 plus your proficiency bonus and strength or dex modifier, your choice, which in your case would be equal. So 15, it's fine regardless. Otherwise, I would say a second win is something you should be aware of. As a bonus action, you can regain your hit points equal to 1d10 plus 3, your fighter level. You can use that once before you need a short rest again in order to do it. But that's a way to give yourself a little bit of healing. Also, I would say Champ and Gabriella, each character should have 2 potions of healing on you. So if you don't have those, just grab those from the items list and drag them to your character.
Can I also say I'm super amused by a lizard man flanked by 2 little halflings? So he walks into the room and we walk in and step out from behind him.
That sounds like a bad joke. A lizard man and 2 halflings walk into a bar.
I know at least one of you can literally hide behind me.
Yep.
So as a pirate, too, I gave each of the generic characters a couple of unique inventory items, and I'm sure you two did as well for your characters. For example, Chamomile, you've got ball bearings with you.
I noticed that.
You do have +1 chainmail. You have a crowbar, a grappling hook, medallions, a metal tube, some ointment, a miner's pick, a 10-foot pole, and those might come in handy.
I feel like she's going to be competing in the Adventuring Olympics with some of this stuff.
So I noticed that at least one of you's got a quarterstaff, but there might be an opportunity to get a few weird one-offs if you'd like to here before we get going tonight. Otherwise, we don't really have personality for the characters yet, as they've mostly just been created for tonight, and we're going to sort of roll with it. So where are we rolling to? We are rolling to a Lizardfolk lair. Your group has been brought into sort of a side room by some of the denizens of the city of Stormreach, and they need you to get in touch with a bullywug rogue who has found himself caged and trapped in a Lizardfolk lair. Now, this person is actually needed over in Saltmarsh. They need to report to a person by the name of Garthelmore at the Snapping Line Inn for duty. They're being called to active duty, as it were, to support the activities taking place in Saltmarsh, except this person, who goes by the name of Frogo, can't, because they are currently trapped. This is an imaginary story about how Frogo ended up getting to the Snapping Line Inn and thus becoming your friend. Alright, so you find yourself deep within a lizardfolk lair, and you know that Frogo is at the end of a lizardfolk proving grounds. It's a cave system, really, that the lizardfolk are using in this area to test the mettle of would-be soldiers, would-be leaders, things like that. It's also a good place to store valuables because it's at the end of kind of a large proving grounds, which is known to be particularly difficult. But you see kind of the cave entrance ahead, and you can already see that there's a bunch of light shining through the cave entrance onto what appears to be a fairly large and green and lush cavern below.
I know I had mentioned this to you before, but I just need to so Garthelmore is sending us here. Is there also a Waynelmore, and are we going to party on?
Maybe in a future expansion, huh? Yeah. All right. So what are we rolling here?
I'm assuming I had a long rest, so I'm rolling my two D20, which turned out to be an 18 and a 17. So.
Yeah, very nice. And this is again what you'll be spending here.
I mean, the other option was rolling a 1, so I could make somebody roll a 1, but.
All right. So
but I didn't. I rolled
you
good.
do see the cave entrance up ahead. Stealth. So you do see the cave entrance up ahead. Stealth is the obvious choice here, so you kind of creep up toward the entrance to the cave, and it is pretty quiet. Now, you know it's not a large, say, lizardfolk contingent that has Frogo. In fact, you've been told it's a group of lizardfolk thugs, essentially, perhaps marauders of their own who were going for the treasure, although that's pure speculation. Either way, when you get to the entrance of the cave, what you notice is that it's green and lush. It's basically a large open area. It goes steeply down from your entrance, and it's green and what have you, up until it hits a wide rushing river. Not rushing to the point of rapids or anything, but fairly quick moving river that's cutting across the inside of the cave here, and way up on the other side, on the other end where there's a wall, there's a big kind of rock wall. On the top of that rock wall is what essentially amounts to a step area in which you can see a lizardfolk encampment. So the trick to getting to that area is you're going to have to get down through the cavern, cross the river, and get up over that wall, and then deal with the lizardfolk tribe.
I forget, how long can you all hold breath?
Not that long.
Depends on your strength, I believe, doesn't it?
If you'd like to give
weight you're
me
carrying?
a perception check, perhaps, from this distance I can see if there's anything of note to call out.
Okay.
Looks like water to me.
Yeah, it's definitely rushing water. Now, Champ, I'm going to give you some benefit of the doubt here, and you do see a section, kind of, like I say, it's a steep decline to the river, the flowing riverbed there. But you do see some rocks poking up about at the midpoint, where it's a little bit thinner. That may also indicate that it's not very deep there.
Okay, we can try and get across there.
We're pretty short, but sure.
I realize I never shared the main Lizardfolk lair entrance to you. This is basically you coming into the cave here. And I don't have an image of the cave itself. Theater of the mind here.
I'm just gonna assume that's a statue and not like a
Yeah.
snake.
So you do see, this is kind of the image of you guys going into the cave. This is sort of where you've crawled to. I don't have a picture of the cave itself, although some of the maps will reference what you'll be doing here. But if you basically see you went through the jungle into this cave, the cave actually has sunlight streaming in from a hole in the ceiling, a fairly large open ceiling that's streaming in, and there's thus lots of grassland and greenery in this jungle climate. Now it's not Rapid's fast-moving river, but fast-moving river because you can hear it. And an area where it's thinner in the center that Champ has noticed, where it looks like it may not be that deep, although it's hard to tell until you get down there.
Right. If all else fails, grab me.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm guessing as a lizard folk, you have some sort of fin-like structure, so I'll just like hang on to one of those.
Now you can see as a proving ground, it makes a lot of sense in terms of natural habitat, because you're going to have to learn how to scramble downward very steeply, head across a river, deal through grassland and jungle and whatever threats might be there, and then somehow get up this wall to the encampment, if that's where your destination is, of course. Which it is in your case, because that is where you see a campfire that is lit. Clearly that's where the lizard folk are. Alright, so anything before we kind of get to the first encounter here? You're going to be scrambling down the bank unless you tell me otherwise.
Nope.
Sounds good. Heading for the shallow looking area.
Alright, so I'm going to cut this one out and share this record. Let me know if you've seen it all. Everyone should now be able to see it.
Oh, good.
That's a lot of teeth.
Alright, if you could... Actually, I need to drag you to the party sheet, don't I? Okay. Then... add you to the combat tracker.
Oh, good. One's a giant.
It's not, it's just very, very large. It's much larger than the others. It's not actually, say, gigantic giant, but it is very, very large and old and mean and nasty.
Keep in mind, Gabby and I are halflings. To us, it's absolutely
Like
giant.
humongous.
By the way, if you want to know, I watched a YouTube video that my son was watching entitled Hexagons Are the Bestagons. And as a result of that video, I am now fully Team Hexagon. And so we're going to be using hexagons for the entirety of the maps here on tonight's show. Now, why hexagons? Because squares are uneven, right? So diagonals are kind of whatever. But hexagons don't have that problem. So we're going to be using hexagons tonight.
Clever.
Thank you, CP Gray.
Yeah.
So we're in the giant beehive.
There's actually a reason I know from watching that video that beehives are composed of little hexagons.
All right, so as you can see, you have got some stuff you're going to have to deal with here. You see each one of these is 5 feet, right? So you've got 5, 10, 15, 20, about 20 feet between each rock, and then you need to get to the other bank in order to cut across the river, which is moving. It's not so much that, like, it is going to be deeper than your head, and it is moving quickly, but you'll be able to sort of fight against it. It's doable. It's definitely doable. Of course, the crocodiles might be the problem.
So let's see, 5, 10. If I were to get to that middle rock, would I be able to make the other bank?
Well, that's
Is that-
pretty far. Let me see if I can get a point
Yeah,
around.
fine. I'm trying to.
I'm looking at my 10-foot pole, wondering if I could, pole vault from rock to rock.
Okay, well unfortunately, that's not set right. Do I change
Yeah,
that?
it's not doing they're because they're
Oh,
5 feet
yeah.
each. 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, I think I can get to the edge from the middle, but still be in the water.
So we should probably circle down so that the land rocks are in front of us as opposed to over to the side.
So like over here.
What should the distance multiplier be on it? It's currently set to 1. It should be 5, right?
Yeah,
For 5
5.
feet. Okay, that should resolve our pointer issue.
Unless you want it to be 1.
No, I don't. So, the crocodiles see you as you get close to the river, and they start heading in your direction, the two that are closest to you. They're not so much immediately ready to attack, they're just kind of looking and heading in your direction slowly, kind of keeping an eye on what you're doing. What is it you're going to do? Also, you should probably roll for initiative.
All right.
Ooh. Chamomile did quite well.
This is the one time I don't want to roll high.
So, relevant to tonight's game, I looked up a special type of movement rules worth mentioning them today. Climbing, swimming, crawling. While climbing or swimming, each foot of movement costs 1 extra foot, unless a creature has a climbing or swimming speed. Climbing a slippery vertical surface or one with a few handholds requires a successful strength check. Similarly, gaining any distance in rough water requires a successful strength check to gain distance. Jumping. Your strength determines how far you can jump. So if you have a strength of 18, there you go. Long jump. When you make a long jump, you cover a number of feet up to your strength score. So if you had, let's say you had a strength of 14, and you moved up to at least 10 feet on foot immediately prior, you would be able to go up to 14 feet. So if you can run up 10 feet, you would be able to jump 14 feet. If you make a standing long jump, you can only go 7 feet. Either way, each foot you clear on the jump costs 1 foot of movement. So, if you have a 10-foot run, you can jump up to your strength score. If you don't have a 10-foot run, you can do half.
I have a Misty Step question.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm holding one end of a rope, and let's say Chomp is holding the other end of a rope, and I Misty Step, what happens with the rope?
It stays where it is.
Bummer. Even if it's tied around my waist?
It would still have a loop where it was tied around your waist, and you would poof away from it.
Oh well, there goes that little plan.
Now, the next relevant bit. High jump. When you make a high jump, you leap into the air a number of feet equal to 3 plus your strength modifier if you move at least 10 feet before the jump. When you make a standing high jump, you can jump half that distance. So 3 plus your strength modifier is how much you can leap into the air if you move at least 10 feet prior.
Well, that's pretty scary.
You can extend your arms half your height above yourself during the jump. Thus, you can reach above you a distance equal to the height of the jump plus 1.5 times your height. So, 3 plus your strength modifier is how high you can go, and then 1.5 times your height. if that becomes relevant, which it might. Now, you should also have a pole of some kind, so you could do a, say, pole vault or something as well.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
How long is a quarterstaff?
I'm going to call it a 10-foot pole.
Okay. Do we have any rope?
I have
'Cause
some rope.
Okay, because I don't have any in my inventory. Whoops.
I know I saw rope. I'm not seeing it now. I know I had. Might have been in my Dungeoneer's pack.
So I'm
Yes, 50
thinking,
feet of hempen rope.
okay. I'm thinking maybe I can pole vault out to that first little island, then Misty Step to the second one. But if I can't get the rope over there so that Chamomile can.
I will relook at the rules, but I'm pretty sure that's correct.
If you have 10 feet of chain.
If you have rope or chain, whatever, I can swim across. I don't have the rope.
Well, sure, we can all swim, but there's
Yeah,
alligators.
you could swim across. Like I say, you'll have to make checks to get forward movement done, but you can. The crocodiles will not have to make checks for their forward movement.
I also have a swim speed.
You could go the brute force route and just try to kill them all.
Could do that. But I was just saying, making use of my swim speed, my natural swim speed, help us get across.
Probably. Now, I'll have to look it up on your character or something, but I assume you just wouldn't have a penalty.
Yeah, it's a 30-foot swim speed.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, so let's. I mean, you could swim across and conceivably even outpace the gators.
Yeah. The climbing, swimming, I've got that.
It is steep and a little muddy and slippery on the other side, but it doesn't seem like something you can't handle unless maybe things are going rough.
Well, we could see if the crocodiles follow you, and then Chamomile and I can be a little slower getting over because they're following you.
I have a question. If I were to use my pole and attempt to pole vault across, would I just be able to pick up my pole on the other side? Could I, attach it with a wrist strap somehow, maybe?
Yeah, I guess ideally you'd want to be carrying it with you, right? You're not giving up on it. So you would use it as something to sort of jam into the ground, pole vault style, and get over and then keep with you for the next time.
I'm thinking maybe I could tie some rope around it and just give it get to the other side and give it a good yank and
I could just sort of D&D it and say you pull it from your backpack, but you are a halfling with a 10-foot pole. So it's a collapsible and expandable pole is what it is.
So there's a lizard man surrounded by two halflings each with 10-foot poles.
I wouldn't touch that lizard man with a 10-foot pole. Somebody had to say it.
This is funny.
Now, if you will notice, I did give you the skills, acrobatics, and athletics.
I also noticed you gave her intimidation, which I thought was a very strange choice for a halfling fighter. But
well, I figured if it was a halfling fighter or sailor, sailors can be pretty intimidating. So, anyway, I thought that would just make for fun, whatever. But relevant, though, is that acrobatic stuff. I gave you a 10-foot pole with the idea that perhaps the idea of pole vaulting might come up. And the way that that's going to be, depending on the jump and the circumstances, an athletic skill check.
Yes, yeah. Since I unfortunately won initiative for this round, that is about 20 feet, give or take, from the shore. So my thought is I'm going to run down to the edge of the shore, plant my pole, and catapult myself onto that first rock.
Now, you can't technically go, horizontal, so it can't be a full 10 foot in one direction, 10 foot in another, but we're going to kind of fake it because you would have a few feet on either side. So I'm going to say that you can do 20 feet, if you can do 20 feet. But you're going to have to make these athletic checks. So what do you want to do to maybe try to do that?
Okay, let's try this.
Note, I also made you a halfling for the ability to reroll ones.
Okay, 15 athletics check.
All right. Can you tell me about the practice you've done in the past with pole vaulting?
Well, being a halfling and being a sailor, possibly a pirate in past lives, using a pole when I had to get up into the rigging and stuff like that, sometimes it was a lot easier instead of having to climb up there, just plant my pole and catapult myself up to the top.
Very true, especially if they make things that aren't necessarily useful for people who are of halfling height. So
Exactly.
you pole vault across excellently. And you notice that the crocodiles notice you, and they start heading in your direction, but again, not super quickly.
So right now they just kind of look more curious than hungry?
Yeah.
Okay, I like curious, I don't like hungry.
I bet that will change if one of us falls in.
I bet you're right.
All right, well, that is your action. You would have a bonus action.
Oh, I do have a bonus action. And actually, I also have, what the heck is that called? I could theoretically take another action, but I can only use that once per rest, so I don't want to do that right now. I'm not actually seeing where I have much of a bonus action. And I don't want to use my second action right now.
Yep. All right. Well, sounds good. If that's your turn then.
That is my turn.
All right. I will move on. Crocodile 3 is interested in getting closer. So, let's see. Swim 30 feet. Sort of moving over to the rock over here.
That's right.
Crocodile 4 is moving as well. 10, 15, 20. And is moving over there. Champ, your turn.
All right. Swim over.
Nice. And yeah, you're Lizardfolk. I'm just going to let you do it. You can just use your movement on this.
Can you
actually
double move?
You probably could, but you know what I'm still going to do though, because this is a proving grounds. Give me a skill check, and unless you roll a 1, basically you're going to pass it.
Ooh.
All right, there you go. Good enough. So there you go. I suppose I could just call it a DC 10 check. Were you going to do anything else?
Let's see. My my standard action will be held action on approach. I'll attack them if they try to eat us.
Sounds good. Crocodile 1 is not interested in eating you.
Yet.
I don't know why that thing's targeted. But it is moving casually close to shore. Looks a little maybe hungry at you, Gabby.
Oh, good.
What are you going to do? You have a crocodile that is moving on your direction. You could jump on it.
I could. But what I'm going to try to do is do the same thing with my quarterstaff. Unless it's in the way of me being able to pole vault.
It is not.
Okay.
You, however, do not have acrobatics or athletics.
I have a little bit.
Just from your strength, but you don't have them trained.
No.
Could I have 50 feet of rope. Could I throw that across and pull Gabby over?
You did okay, though, this time.
Very nice.
Well, you say that, but you're untrained in it, so you don't have the kind of pole vaulting skills of, say, a halfling pirate. You know, that kind of thing.
No, but I do, as a spy, I occasionally have to, like, Jackie Chan up the side of a building or something, to get to a listening spot. So I do have some, like, fruit cart and bamboo structure skills that are innate to being a spy.
All right, why don't you give me a dexterity check?
Okay. Dex. Just roll straight dex.
Yep.
I just have this mental image of this little halfling using the big bamboo stalk to vault over a fruit cart.
See, exactly.
Right. You managed to not fall into the water, but you're right on the edge of shore, kind of on your butt.
Ooh,
But you did it. You did it.
hooray!
Crocodile 5 is where? Oh, the giant one. The giant crocodile. Oh, no, that's not it. Where's Crocodile?
He hasn't moved on the area yet.
Oh, yeah, he's not here
a
yet.
Crocodile number.
Oh, that's what it was, because I knew there would only be 3 of you, so I will actually get rid of Crocodile 5 for now.
Good. Wait, for now? You didn't have to add the for now. You could have just.
All right, Crocodile 2 is heading your way. There you go. The giant crocodile. Let me look this guy up quickly. Swim 50 feet?
Uh-oh.
Wow, that's a lot. The giant crocodile looks at the group and at the moment is standing still.
I still feel like an hors d'oeuvre.
And it's still standing there.
So it
Crocodile
moves kind of
1.
like a horse on land.
Oh, for those who aren't familiar with my campaigns, I re-roll initiative at the start automatically. It helps, I think, generate the chaos of combat, and it also prevents combat from just getting too rote. It keeps you on your toes, and it can kind of mess with some of your plans if you're trying to plan too far ahead. So anyway, Crocodile 1 here is actually going up to Gabriella and is going to bite.
Well, that's not nice.
And hits.
Oof.
Okay, you are grappled and restrained until you make an escape DC 12 check.
Let's see. I have shield, which I can cast as a reaction.
Okay.
Invisible barrier of magic force appears and protects you until the start of your next turn. You have +5 bonus to AC, including the triggering attack, and you take no damage from magic missile. Well, it didn't throw a magic missile at me, but maybe it'll miss. So let's see. Effect. So I pop the shield pops on me,
Nice.
and so I don't know if that makes it miss or not.
What's your AC?
My AC normally is 13.
But what was the reaction caused by?
It's shield. It's a reaction to getting hit.
Okay, so you were hit and damaged, and that was what caused the reaction for the shield to proc.
But it blocks the damage.
Oh, okay. Well, so the attack would be a 14, so that would not probably hit if you all of a sudden at AC 5, right? Because
Yeah.
that would put you at 18, so that would be a miss. So that means you don't take the damage?
Right.
Correct.
All right. And how did you spend that? Just as a reaction to getting hit?
Yeah, it's a level 1 spell, and it's a reaction.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. Sounds good. You didn't take the damage. Does that mean you're also not grappled or restrained?
Right. Because it missed.
All right, there you go. Nice. Crocodile 2. Is going to prepare and move over to the next rock. It's as if it's expecting you.
Oh, they're smart.
Chomp, your turn.
All right. Let's do this, Croc.
That's a 19. That's a hit. Yeah. That's a 19. That's a hit.
I mean, I hope so.
Took 8 points of damage. This is a big, tough crocodile. There's a reason it's sitting in the Lizardfolk Proving Grounds River.
Ah, well, then I should have raged. Oh well, my bonus action will be to rage.
All right. It makes you very angry that these crocodiles are attacking your friend. Or perhaps you've got your own ideas in terms of why you're upset. And it just seems like you got angry because it was attacking your friend.
I got angry because it didn't die.
Maybe did you roll a 17 instead?
All right. Well, is that your turn then?
Yep, I only get one attack.
All right. Chamomile, you're up.
Well, we're under attack here. I am going to take my great axe, which is possibly bigger than I am, and swing it at Crocodile number 1 in hopes that he will simply fall into the ocean and cry.
All right, I think you'll have to move forward 5 feet technically, but that's fine.
Will I? Yeah, I mean, on my screen, our circles are actually overlapping a little.
Yeah.
Anyway, I rolled a 13.
All right. That is a hit.
Okay. Well, that sucked.
6 points of damage. That's moderate damage.
I'm debating something. Nope, I'm going to save it for now. That'll be my turn.
All right. Gabriella.
Okay, well, let's see.
Gabriella, the not chomped.
No, he's chomped. Gosh. Well, I guess I will. What spells do I have? I will magic missile that crocodile. Is it 3 missile? How many missiles is magic missile? 3?
3 at level 1.
Okay.
All right, 5 points. 4 points.
Ah.
All right.
Okay, his dot's red. I like the look of that.
Yeah, he's in critical pain. Got any follow-up or anything?
I am saving my bonus action for the next rock.
All right, sounds good.
He's a critical crocodile.
Your mama said you wouldn't amount to anything, did you? Oh, wrong critical. Sorry.
Which reminds me, I'm going to, when I rage, I'm making my tail extra large and spiky.
Nice. It just moves.
So now there's another one. Yay!
Crocodile 3 is waiting where it is at the moment. All right, so we're back to Crocodile 1, who is in the midst of combat, sees an opportunity to chomp, and is going to attempt to do so. And that is a miss. And let me see. Yeah, it looks, just gets one action there, so there we go. Crocodile 3 is staying where it is. Chomp, your turn.
All right.
Wow. Okay. So 21 is the modified number, and a hit that did 15 points of damage, enough to kill the crocodile.
Now pick it up and throw it at another one.
Oh, I like that idea.
I'll leave it on the map if you want to.
Chomp's feeling angry, so.
All right. The giant crocodile is not doing anything yet.
Good thing he's a lazy giant crocodile.
Gabriella, what are you going to do?
All right, so the one that was right next to me is X. So I am actually going to, and you might have to put a little token there, but I'm going to create bonfire right on the edge, right in front of Crocodile 2's nose.
Okay.
So I don't know that it would really be able to burn him, but it will keep him from being on the shore there. And that.
Okay. Well, what are you actually casting?
Create bonfire. It's cantrip.
Okay. And
And it's basically to attempt to scare Crocodile 2 away from the little rocky shore there. So I'm putting a fire right in front of his face.
Okay.
As close to him as I can get without it being in the water.
Well, is that Crocodile 2 or Crocodile 4?
Crocodile 2 on the next island over.
Oh, on the next one. Okay.
Oh, okay. So you're going to put a bonfire there and have it created.
Yes.
All right. Well, why don't we put it there for the purposes of facing? Why don't we give it, I don't know, not a terrible idea. Let's have it make a wisdom save.
Okay.
And it fails it. So yeah, it looks kind of freaked out and starts backing away.
Excellent. Get to the next island, Cammy.
All right, what you gonna do? Chamomile, you're up.
Well, let's see. Crocodile number 1 is actually no longer here, correct? He's gone?
Yeah, he's been renamed Bob.
Is it because he's bobbing up and down in the water now because he's dead?
Exactly.
Well, let's face it. Crocodile 4 has already tried to attack us, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just slide this way just a little to make sure I'm within range of him. And I'm going to swing my mighty great axe at it. Uh, 16. I think that's a hit because I think I rolled less than that on the last one. Yes, I only rolled a 13 on the last one and hit. So, let me see. Do I want to... Nope. I'm just going to roll damage. little better.
All right. So there you go. 8 points of damage. All right. So there you go. 8 points of damage there.
I'm tempted to use my second wind, but I'm eyeing that giant crocodile and thinking the odds of getting any rest at all before we have to face it are very small. So that is my turn.
All right. We've got Crocodile 4, who is in the midst of running to you and is going to also attempt to chomp. For some reason, I got a advantage on that.
I'm attacking recklessly, so you got advantage.
Okay. And that is a hit.
As a reaction, I'm going to use my lashing tail to do the other thing it does, which is I roll a d8 and I add that to my AC.
Nice.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay, I couldn't ask for more from that ability than that, so
So that makes it a miss, really?
Yep.
Okay.
I basically parry with my tail.
All right, there you go. And Crocodile 2 is moving out of the way.
I basically parried with my tail. It's just not something I ever really expected to hear.
Croc 4 is back and is going to this time try to chomp some tea. It sees an easier target, perhaps.
She's thirsty.
That is a miss, however.
Okay, I am going to use my riposte under my combat superiority. Since it missed me with a melee attack, I'm going to use my reaction and expend 1 superiority die to make a melee weapon attack against the creature.
Nice.
So if I hit it, I'll
Sweet.
add my d8. So, come on, Great Axe. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Total hit. Ooh, very nice. 12 points of damage as well.
And I also add a d8 to that, correct? Because of the...
Is it spend in order to do the attack? Is that what you're doing? Or are you spending and then getting...
If you hit, you add the superiority die
Oh, yeah,
to the
sure.
attack damage roll.
Yeah, okay.
So add another... I don't know how to roll
I'll
that
just manually
on
do it. It's in critical condition.
And I'm going to blow him a raspberry, and that'll be my turn. Oh, wait, that's not even my turn. That was my reaction, so yeah.
Yeah. All right. Crocodile 2 is
helping.
just sort of sitting back for now. Gabriella, what you up to?
Okay, I'm going to take the opportunity while the crocodiles are distracted to pole vault to the next little island, not into my bonfire. Actually, I'll release the bonfire so that I don't land in it.
Probably a good idea. Make an athletics check.
Yeah. And so acrobatics again?
Yep.
Okay.
Or athletics.
You know
In
what?
your
I
case, it
actually
doesn't
rolled an 18 instead of that 8.
No.
So I'll use one of my die rolls from
And that gives
earlier.
you a
Okay.
21 total.
So what do you mean you rolled an 18 instead of that 8?
That was earlier when I rolled my 2 d20s, and I can replace a roll. So I'm going to replace that acrobatics 8 with an 18 so that I make it instead of falling in the water.
Okay, and you spent an additional 10 points then of that? Is that what correct?
No, I just replaced the d5 that I rolled with the d18.
Oh, okay. You just so you have 1 die left, is that right, or none?
Yeah, so I still have a 17 left that I can use on something else.
All right. Well, you made an 18, so there you go. You've made it across. Just barely, but it's good enough.
Woo! And
Nicely done.
There.
5, 10, 15, 20. With my bonus action, I'm going to Misty Step to that little island, assuming I can make it. Let me do the math first.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I'm on the wrong side. Okay, then I'll wait.
The giant crocodile starts to meander slowly over this way.
Instead of waiting, I'm going to watch that guy.
I'm putting you there, is where I'm going to put you. Crocodile 3 is holding its action. Chomp, your turn.
Okay. So I'm going to use my Lizardman Hungry Jaws.
Okay. Sure.
He's got hungry jaws.
I was serious. I was literally just thinking that. We should have harmonized.
21, there's a hit. You've chomped the crocodile with your mouth. And now it's dying. You've killed it. Do you want to eat it? And you get, if I recall, you get some hit points back from that, right? Although you don't have any damage.
Yeah, that one's temporary hit points. So I do, in fact, eat it and get buffed up for what's to come.
All right. Do you have anything further you want to do? Because you haven't done movement. Or a bonus action. Yeah. Okay, you make it across.
And then
Chamomile.
as my standard action,
Okay.
because that was actually a bonus action, I will attack on approach, which right now is within 10 feet because I've got reach with the tail.
All right, sounds good. Chamomile, your turn.
I am going to do an acrobatics check to see if I successfully pole vault over to the island where Gabby and Chomp are. Oh.
That appears to be a 1.
Oh. However,
You get to re-roll.
I can re-roll.
Nope, jinx.
And this time I have to take it regardless.
Unfortunately, it's still pretty low. You take a 10-foot run, and then you try, and you make it about here before it slips, and you're now fully engulfed in the water.
Good thing I can swim.
All right, so basically the way that's going to work strength athletics check to gain any distance forward.
$13?
No.
Oh. Oh.
So you're swimming, but you haven't been able to make it crossed.
She rolls a 17 instead of a 13.
Okay.
I'll use my last dice.
All right, that's enough to move. Now you've done your action. You can move forward, and it's 2-to-1 movement, but that's still enough to get you onto shore.
Phew.
Barely.
Thank you.
But there you go. Yeah, that was a little close. Okay, so where are we at now? We are at Chamomile.
Oh,
you're up
hey.
again.
Well. Let's see. Crocodile number 2. I think crocodile number 3 is the one we have to worry about right now. So I'm going to move up here to crocodile number 3 and swing my mighty great axe. $11.
That's a miss, unfortunately.
Can I do anything about that? Hang on a sec.
You have an action surge you could take.
Yeah, but I'm kind of saving that for the giant crocodile. Nope, that's it for me.
All right. Crocodile 3 takes a look at you, Chamomile, and is thinking you look pretty tasty.
Oh dear.
And rolled a 2, a miss.
Woohoo!
Chomp, you're up.
Okay, move up.
You get the advantage because of the reckless attack, is that right?
That's correct.
All right, you dropped a 9, and now you've got a 20, which is a hit.
I'm sorry, what was that? I assumed that
That's
was
a hit. Yes.
Nice.
12 points of slashing damage with the great sword, moderate damage. Gabriella, what's up?
All right, I have another Misty Step question.
Mm-hmm.
If one were to be midair vaulting, could one Misty Step from that position?
Yes.
Very well. I'm going to leap as far as I can with my vaulting. So would that be like here or something?
Well, that'll be an athletics check.
Okay.
But yeah, it would be, we're going to say 20 feet across is what you can do.
Shoot. Hold on, it hit the wrong thing. It didn't go in the tower. Or the... Sorry, hold on. Uh-oh.
Well, actually, let me rephrase that, though, because you don't get 20 feet. But we'll deal with that in a second. However, you rolled a 1. You're also a halfling, are you not?
Yay. Oh. I did the same exact thing she did.
No, you got a 4, though. Okay, so unfortunately, you do not get to Misty Step because you stumble and fall into the water. Now, remember, you only get to go to your full strength with 10 feet of movement.
Right.
So, otherwise it's half. So, you would see 5, 10, and then where do you want to be? Or did you want to go half movement, but that wouldn't get you across? So.
Yeah, my plan was to move up, like basically next to Chamomile and go from there, so I'd be close enough. So that
Okay.
would put me pretty much right next to the alligator's mouth, I think.
All right.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, so that would be within half of what's your strength?
My strength is 8.
Okay, so you have no strength. So you're just actually going to be right here,
Okay.
flailing in the water. If
Whee!
you wish to get back on land, though, you're going to have to make a strength check.
Oh boy. Well, worth a shot, I guess.
There's always a catch. Oh,
And
it just
at the
rolled
moment,
over
you
from
can't get a
16.
grip on land. Yeah.
And I can't use any of my dice because I have used them already.
So you've done basically your movement and basically your action. However, you could you could Misty Step.
I mean, I may as well at this point. So 30 feet towards that little island.
Yep.
Looks like you're within 30 feet of it, so.
Yep, there you go. And you
Woo!
make it, you're wet, you're on the ground, you're on your back, but you're on the rock.
Well, I will struggle up and take a bow.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a free action, I will applaud her effort.
All right, Crocodile 2 is interested in eating. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and is going to attack Chomp. That is a miss on a 15.
Wow.
All right. The giant crocodile is interested in what's happening now that you've reached the third rock. So let's see.
Oh, fun. He's super fast. I forgot.
Damn. Misty Step isn't looking so great anymore.
No!
Let's see. Let me check out its real quick what its attack range is.
And this is up to you, I guess. Was I able to hold on to my quarterstaff?
Yes, you did, because you
Okay,
grabbed it with you and missed a step with it. Yeah. Okay, it's going to do a tail attack on you, Gabriella.
Oh, fun.
And that is a hit.
Oof.
Reach of 10 foot there on it. One target not grappled by the crocodile. So you take 2d8.
Shield.
Yes.
Shield.
Okay.
I have another spell effect.
Yeah, and that makes it an 18, so that would be okay.
Phew. Okay. I'm running out of spells, but I'm alive.
All right. Crocodile 2 is back to chomping on Chomp. Or at least attempting to do so. This time is a hit with an 18.
Okay, as a reaction, tail. AC 20.
So you did what on an AC 20?
I batted away his mouth with my tail. It's a reaction.
Okay.
So that's
It's
been
an
used
attack roll against the crocodile, is that right?
No, I just roll a d8 and it ups my AC by that amount.
Oh, okay. And that gives you AC 20, which makes it not a hit. Okay.
Right.
All right. Gabriella,
Okay.
you see the shore from here.
Is that like
You also see a giant crocodile.
right? And that's like 5 feet away.
Yes.
Okay. You know, I'm gonna try that pole vault again to get on shore. I feel more secure if I was on the shore. So I'm taking a chance here. Whew!
Natural 20.
Nice.
Yay.
I
All
pole vault
right.
off his head onto the.
So you have 20 feet. You could go somewhere like here or here, maybe about there. Nice and far away.
Yeah. And that counts as an action, or is that my movement?
Well, I've been using the pole vault as an action. Just
Okay.
because, let's be real, it's an action.
Right.
So you have your movement if you want it, or bonus action or whatever.
I don't think I have anything else that's a bonus action except the step. Let me see. Yeah, so I'm pretty much just going to stay where I am. I'm not going to move off because I'm going to start slinging spells to help my friends. So that'll be me for now.
All right. Crocodile 3 is attacking Chamomile.
No.
And that is a miss.
Excellent.
Chomp.
I am not going to use my riposte because I want to save this. Yeah, I have something in mind.
Let's put some more blood in this water.
That's it. That is a hit. That is a hit.
See, I need to roll 2 dice for damage because one is going to be a 1.
11 points of heavy damage. Not dead yet, though. Chamomile.
Okay.
Crocs to your left, Crocs to your right.
I am going to swing my trusty great axe at this heavily damaged crocodile number 3. Be a hit, be a hit, be a hit, hit.
That's a hit.
Yes! In that case, I am going to use my combat superiority to make a sweeping attack, and I'm going to expend 1 superiority die to attempt to damage another creature with the same attack. They are within 5 feet of each other, right?
Yeah, good enough.
So, yep, they're both within my reach. Damage. Okay, so the first croc, the one I actually swung at, gets my regular damage die.
All right, you've killed it. And then you follow right through and chunk into Crocodile 2
Okay, now that gets my d8.
for 6 points of damage. Very nice.
And I will take a bow, and that'll be my turn.
and I'll give her the clapping.
I thought you were you said you were gonna do, you know what I was thinking. You were gonna
Yeah.
do the clap.
Phrasing.
Yeah, that's definitely my turn.
Unfortunately, Gabriella, you see the giant crocodile, 5, 10, 15, move up toward you.
It was attracted by the clapping.
Alright, it's going to try to bite. Ooh, that is a hit, I'm sorry to say.
Oh dear. By the way, crocodile number 2 should not be completely
Oh
healthy
no!
because
Death save. Yeah, alright. You're
I
down.
had one first level left, but I didn't call it, so I'm gonna go with it.
By the way,
Ye-
crocodile number 2 is down 6 points. I just noticed in the combat tracker he shows up as healthy, but that D8 I rolled a 6 on. That
Yeah, I
was
will,
not him.
you're right, I will need to
Okay.
manually add that.
Oh dear. Poor Gabby.
Alright, so that is that. You are also grappled and restrained.
I don't notice.
Was she swallowed?
Oh, give him
Well,
ideas.
actually, I think the answer might be correct, right?
That's why I
No,
brought it up. I think
no.
of,
No,
Okay,
not
good.
yet, not yet.
So if I am, can I burst out of him like what was it, John Voight in that giant snake movie? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Oh, it was the best
Are you
scene
thinking
ever.
of Sharknado with the chainsaw coming out of the shark at the end?
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, basically. Alright, so, Crocodile 3 is dead. Do you want me to leave it on the map, though, or is someone going to try chucking at the giant crocodile or something?
Ooh.
I don't intend to.
What's
it
your
might.
strength, Chomp?
Or use it to run across?
17.
I'll leave it there, actually.
Okay, your strength is higher than mine, so you'd have better luck chucking it than I would.
I will actually say you can run on it, so that'll cut your distance to the next.
Okay,
Island.
could I use my pole to sort of like jump on it and pull myself across like with a skiff? After all, I was a sailor.
Ooh.
So I am familiar with boats, so I'm thinking, that crocodile's floating there. I could jump on his back
Ooh,
and sort of
that's a
pull my way
pretty good
across.
idea. That's a pretty good idea. I think, and use it like a canoe or something. Sure, why don't you give me athletics?
Do I have to wait for my
check?
turn to do that, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good idea, though.
It's
Alright.
the good ship Crocodile.
Alright, it's going to be your first death save here, Gabriella. Not that one.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's a 1, though. You get to re-roll it.
Ooh, that's true.
Oh, hey.
Come on, 20.
Alright, there you go. So
Turned that to a success.
Yep.
Some days it's great to be a halfling.
The croc's belly gurgles.
Chomp, you're up.
Okay.
That is an unfortunate miss.
Yep.
Is that it?
Pretty sure. Yep.
I have a question. Why do I have -2 temporary hit points? As far as I know, I have not been hit at all.
Don't know. That's fine. Yeah, that does seem weird. Alright, good enough. Giant Crocodile is currently preparing to enjoy its meal of Gabriella.
I'm stringy.
Crocodile 2 is going to attack Chomp.
I'll give you indigestion.
That's a miss, though. Chamomile, you're up.
Okay. Oh man. I know if I leave, I'm gonna provoke an attack of opportunity. But I really want to. I really want to help Gabby. There is actually something I can sort of do. Maybe. Okay. I am going to. This is my second to last one, so I'm going to use my bonus action first and expend one superiority die to bolster the resolve of Gabby. So she will gain temporary hit points equal to D8 plus my charisma mod, which is -1, of course. I'm
So
trying
D8.
to helping. So yeah, 4. I mean, that's better than nothing.
Now, that actually grants hit points, right?
Yes, temporary hit points, but yes.
But that means that they are no longer... That basically brings them to 1 hit point, does it not?
Oh, would it actually be better if I did not do this?
No, I think that's what you want to do, right?
Sounds
Unless-
better for
You-
me.
You sound like it's not what I should be
Well,
doing.
is that correct? That's correct, though, right?
Yes. I'm trying to get Gabby up on her feet to have a chance at getting away from the giant croc.
All right. Yeah, so you're no longer unconscious. Or
Do I get an
naked.
action?
When it's your turn, you do. Or unless you have a reaction, maybe.
Well, I would have a reaction to being in a crocodile's mouth. But
Well,
it's up
yeah,
to
but
you.
unless you have a reaction, like an actual reaction you can do, no. You have to wait for your turn.
Okay, but that was my bonus action, so for my action, I'm going to swing my great axe at crocodile number 2.
That's a miss.
Well, no, I can't use my...
You have 10
Well,
feet
you
of
know what?
distance if you want to try to do a jump. Remember, you can jump up to your strength.
Yeah, that's not going to get over to that island, though. I want to take care of this crocodile before I head over there. Well, I could do that, but I don't want to do that. I could... Okay. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. I am going to use my action surge and hit him again. Big money, big money!
That is a hit.
Big money! Yes!
Nice.
There we
14
go.
points of damage. Very good. Very good.
Okay, that is my turn.
All right, we are on the top of the order for the latest round. Crocodile 2's turn, who sees the damage incoming and decides to return in kind. That is a miss. Crocodile 3 is dead.
Yeah, he's gonna be
Gabriella,
my
it's a strength check to not be grappled and restrained.
I am in its mouth, right?
Yep.
I am going to create bonfire
Oh, nice.
in its throat. I'm not going to try to grapple out.
Ooh.
Okay.
So, I don't know why it has a cast.
He takes.
Oh, failed at
He
save.
failed his save.
So it would be 1d8 fire damage.
I mean,
It
I'm
put it
kinda
on
thinking-
me. Oh, I was targeting me. There. I did not put 2 point. Well, maybe I did. Do you want me to roll that again, or do you?
Yeah,
Do
roll
you
the
want to just
damage
put it on
on. Roll the damage on it.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Okay, I have a question. I mean, if I had something in my mouth and suddenly my throat was on fire, I would open my mouth and most likely drop whatever was in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
You're spicy.
Well, I mean,
it might.
it might, on the other hand, just try to chomp it shut. So you should still probably try to get out of there with a strength check, I would think.
Well, I will use my bonus action to Misty Step 30 feet away.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, put
Bloop.
yourself where... Could you move yourself?
Five,
Yes, move yourself wherever you'd like.
There we go. And that's my last second level spell. Bloop.
And then
So,
you're not grappled or restrained anymore.
and he still has a fire in his mouth. So,
Indeed. Chomp. You're up. That's a hit.
Ooh, Gabby, don't forget you've got 2 potions of healing.
I was just thinking about that.
All right. Critical damage. Very nice. It is hurting. The giant crocodile's turn. It takes a look at you and your Misty Step, and it sees the two of you. And it moves over here, waiting on the shore for you. Chamomile, you're up.
Well, my great axe has been pretty good to me, so let's get rid of this last crocodile, aside from the giant one. Big money!
Oh, Jerry, it needs to make another save against the bonfire.
On its... Oh,
At the end
yeah,
of its
right,
turn.
right.
I'm guessing that's a hit.
That is, yep. Made it save.
Come on. Oh!
All right,
Excellent.
you hit it, and it is
Oh,
dying.
it is unconscious.
Yep.
Excellent. I didn't see the unconscious. Okay.
There are no more crocs other than the giant one in your way.
Can I use my bonus action to hop on crocodile number 3 and pull myself across?
Yeah. But I'm going to make you do a check on the pull across, so...
Acrobatics?
Yeah, probably. You're on it, but you can't make it all the way across.
Okay.
Because against the current, you end up about here.
Okay.
All right. Gabriella, you see a crocodile. Gigantic one in front of you. You're almost dead. You have 2 healing potions.
I do. What healing amount are they?
Same as a cure wounds.
So it's 2d4 plus 2.
Okay, because I didn't end up with them in my inventory, so I'm just gonna.
Let me actually double check that. Yeah, 2d4 plus 2.
So 7.
Cool.
So I'll just do that manually.
I just did it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And drinking a potion is an action, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Then I'll just keep my eye on that croc.
Chamomile. What are you going to do? Oh, sorry. Did you have something else?
I'm gonna back up a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, you're on regular land there. Not difficult terrain or anything. So, Chamomile, you can basically use the rest of your movement to get over to the stone if you'd like.
Yeah, I would like to do that with the crocodile number 3, and then I am going to attempt, if I could, that would be my movement for my action. I'm going to attempt to throw the dead body of crocodile number 3 at the giant croc.
All right, give me a strength check. Sorry, it's going to take more than a modified 12 in order to pull that off. You do grab it around. No, did you have something else?
I'm checking. But no.
You pull it around and try to move it, but it just kind of splats on the shore.
Well, maybe at least it will distract. I mean, it's an easy meal. Whereas
Exactly.
we all fight back and can move away, so none of us should be easy meals.
All right. What else you got?
Sadly, that's it.
All right. So Chomp, how about you?
All right. Swim and dash.
I'm gonna make you make a strength check to get on shore.
All right.
Actually, dex check. Yeah, no problem.
Nice.
That was a dash, so you don't get. Yeah. You're basically like, bite me! And it tries to.
Bite me. Okay.
That is a miss, and it follows through with a tail swipe. That is a hit.
All right. Let's see what I get. As we go tail on tail. 21.
So you have an AC of 21?
Yep.
Okay. And how often do you get to do that?
Once per reaction. So until my turn comes again.
So every time you get hit, you just get to add that to your AC?
Once.
Okay.
Because it
Okay.
eats the reaction.
Yep. Okay. All right. Crocodile 3 is dead. So we are up to Gabriella.
Okay. I will put some magic missile into him. So 11.
All right. 11 points of magic missile damage. It almost feels like it just kind of bounced off the thing.
Well, he's a big crocodile.
It is indeed. All right. Giant Crocodile is going to try to chomp. That is a hit.
So it is.
Some absorbed 19 points of damage, however, and unless you've got something to stop it, grappled and restrained.
Nope. Normally it's opposed, but it's not for monsters, so. Until the next turn.
Yep. Okay. Chamomile, you're up.
Okay. I may use. Well, let's see if I hit. Oh, wait. That's the wrong one. Okay. Well, I'm going to. You want a probably an athletics or acrobatics to see if I can pole vault across?
Yep.
I can almost jump from there, but
Yeah, you could. You could. Yeah, you make it across.
Okay, and I still have some movement. Yes.
Yep.
Move up here, and the teeth look bigger than I am.
This
Because
thing
they
looks
are.
gigantic. This thing might be too tough for you. I'm just saying. No, you might be like looking at this going, maybe we shouldn't, you know.
Oh. Okay.
That is a strong hit, however.
Oh, yeah, I should roll damage, shouldn't
Please do.
7 points. Again, barely even scratched.
Yep, I think that's my turn.
Chomp, for some reason you only have 4 points of damage on you.
Because I'm resistant. Because I'm barbarian.
You are, however, grappled and restrained.
Yep. So I will be using my reckless attack to negate the restrained.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
That
I
is
don't
a
know why I
hit.
did that.
$11 points of damage. Again, it's damage, but it feels like you're basically not even damaging it. It's your turn again. You're grappled at this point, but otherwise you're in pretty good shape. And I don't think you're coming through.
I didn't say anything.
Okay.
So you're correct. All right.
And you're just attacking, huh? Not going to try to ungrapple? Okay.
Nope. I don't need to move right now.
That's a hit. 15 points of damage, but the thing is hurt, but it's nowhere near dead. Alright, it's got you into its bite, so there we go. That is, let's see. Actually, what was that damage? Let me give you that back. I think I accidentally rolled damage instead of attack.
Yep.
That is, however, a hit. Now we'll roll damage.
Hold on, let me tail.
Can you do that grappled?
Yep.
Okay.
21. So now he gets to attack me with his tail.
No, it gets to attack Chamomile with the tail.
Oh, okay.
Ow.
Whips the tail around, and that is a hit.
Uh-oh.
For 13 points of damage, and let's see if you make a strength save.
Oh, you're rolling it? Okay.
Yeah, just on the log there. Failure.
Uh-uh.
So now you are restrained by the tail. Gabby, you see one of your friends restrained by the tail, the other still within its jaws. The thing, while damaged, is nowhere near dead.
Oh, fun. And I've used all my spells except my cantrips. So I guess I will Ray of Frost it right in the butt. But I'll miss.
No. That's it, huh?
I think so. I think that's how it works. It's a ranged attack.
I'm going to give you a little... So you notice one thing. You're on land now. It's fast, but not faster than you on land. If you can get them unrestrained, you could run away from it.
Boy. Okay, I'm gonna move forward. Wait, where was I here? 5, 10, 15, 20. 25. This isn't very smart.
That's 30.
Okay. And start shouting at it.
All right. Make an intimidation check or something.
Okay. Let's see.
Hey, Cordovan. Is that bonfire still raging inside this thing?
Oh yeah, has that been rolled?
Good point. It has not been rolled.
I don't
But
know,
it
but
is-
I'm real scary. I'm intimidating as crap. I rolled a 20.
All right, you've got its attention. There you go. So the inside of its mouth is going to be all mucousy. I'm going to say it puts out the bonfire. It's just a cantrip here.
Yeah, it's just a cantrip. But I scared it. I'm
You
like,
did.
hey!
You've got its attention.
I'm just
Uh-oh.
enjoying seeing something that large and scary being intimidated by something the size of me.
All right, chamomile.
Okay. Why did this just jump? I am going to... I want to see where we are in the order too. Okay, so I don't want to use that. Okay. I'm just going to make a regular attack with my handy dandy great axe. Oh, I have disadvantage.
That is still a hit, however.
Cool.
For 9 points of damage.
As a bonus action, I'm going to use my second wind to get back 1d10 plus my fighter level, which is 3. So I get back 6 hit points. Now I can't use that till I rest again.
Yep. All right. Gabriella, you're up.
Okay, I guess we'll try this Ray of Frost again. Huh?
It's a hit.
So it does
5
5,
points.
and its speed is reduced by 10 feet.
Nice. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, you could definitely run out if you can get out of its jaws. The giant crocodile is going to chomp down on Chomp again.
Did anything happen with my 20 on the
Right.
intimidate?
So, as a matter of fact, yes, it did. I am going to have Chomp no longer be grappled. It dropped you from its jaws, and it actually turned in your direction. It is still, however, chomping on Chomp.
So that's it. Dropped chamomile and
Yep.
is jumping at me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay, yeah, that was
its
yeah.
tail
You
whips
said
around.
chomp both times. You said chomp both times, so we were like, "What?"
Yeah. Its tail whips around on you, Gabriella.
I whip my tail back and forth. I whip my... Yeah, whatever.
And that's a hit. Or is it? It's a 15 hit. Got something?
Nope, I'm all out of everything.
All right. And you're down. Kaboom!
Wee! I'm the yo-yo.
Chomp, your turn.
Okay. So I'm no longer grappled, or am I?
You are not.
Okay.
Am I still restrained?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm over here. Put a potion down Gabby's throat.
All right, there you go. You're no longer unconscious. Unconscious.
Great.
All right, very nice. I think it just brings you back to 1 hit point, technically, doesn't it?
Nope. It just applies it, so
Oh,
should
okay.
be at
At the potion? Yeah.
12.
Okay, cool. All right, good enough. Anything else?
No bonus actions. So that's it.
Chamomile. You've got you're restrained in the tail of a giant crocodile. I believe strength check to get rid of that.
17?
Yeah. Yeah, DC 16 strength save. So, yep, 17 does it.
Yay! Now, do I still get my action, or did that count?
Yes.
Okay. Gabby, how are you doing over there? Do you need to get further away from the crocodile?
Oh, I will be, yes.
Okay. Oh wait, never mind. That's lost on the next turn if it's not. Yeah, it has to be used on. Never mind, because I might go again before you get a turn. So we'll just swing the great axe. Oh.
That's a miss.
Oh. Hang on just a sec. When I roll a what? Oh, on a damage die. Never mind. Doesn't work for attack rolls. That's my turn.
Roll around.
What?
Run around.
Yeah, run around. Might want to use your movement.
Oh, okay. Does he get an attack of opportunity?
Not if you don't leave.
Yeah,
Attack
just
of
come over
opportunity
next to
range.
me.
I would rather be staring at his butt than into his jaws.
You are staring into his jaws on that side.
I'm staring into his jaws on this side?
Yeah, remember the crocodile had turned around to face Gabriella.
Oh, so...
Based on the
this is
intimidation.
So I don't get, okay, this is so I don't get tail whipped. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you could still get tail whipped, but the pog is not representative of facing.
That's confusing. But okay. That's my turn.
Gabriella, you're up.
Okay, I want to run away.
Disengage.
Okay, yeah, so I can move 30 on disengage?
Yep.
Yep.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And the disengage counts as the action?
Yeah. Disengage is an action unless you're a rogue or something.
I am not.
Which means you
Wait.
still have your movement.
But you're no longer unconscious and or prone.
Okay, if I have more movement, I'm going to move back even farther.
All right. Chomp, how about you? Same?
Yeah.
Can you just pick up chamomile?
I mean, maybe.
You don't need to pick up chamomile. Chamomile's fine. Chamomile could run with you.
Can I? It's not my turn. Can I still run?
Yeah, well, when it gets to your turn,
Okay.
you'll be third here, so yeah. But basically at that point, then we can end combat, because you will have run away. You have chosen to run away rather than fight the giant crocodile.
Running
Wisdom
away
may
is
have, won the day here.
It's
All
a
right.
perfectly valid fighting strategy.
It is. It's also time for a quick break. So we're going to take let's call it a 5-minute break here and give people a chance to stretch, use the restroom, grab a snack, whatever. And we'll be back with more D&D Night on DDOstream right here on twitch.tv. See you in 5 minutes, everybody. All right, welcome back everyone to D&D Night on DDOstream, right here on twitch.tv/DDOstream. Every Sunday night, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, we have D&D tabletop by and for DDO players. And next week, I believe Patrick is going to be doing the rotation. Normally, I am the third Sunday of the month, and I will be doing that, I think, for the next couple of months here, although we do have openings for new Dungeon Masters, if that seems like something that you would be interested in doing. Let me know. It doesn't have to be Fantasy Grounds. It can be Fantasy Grounds. It should be, though, relatively within the kind of world that we have going on here on D&D Night on DDOstream. So if you're watching and you're thinking, I'd kind of like to do that, take a turn up, get in touch with me. We'll see what we can do. Perhaps we do have some openings for people to step up to the plate and be DMs or players. And during the break, you saw a link to our Discord. Feel free to use that Discord to ask to see who's got any available openings, and I guarantee you will probably quickly find yourself in a group. So, hope you're having fun, everyone. And again, we are sponsored by Fantasy Grounds. They provided the codes to make this happen for using Fantasy Grounds when we got started here. So, again, tonight we are saving a little person named Frogo, who is encaged in a Lizardfolk encampment that is at the tail end of the Lizardfolk Proving Grounds in an underground cave. Frogo is needed to be in Saltmarsh post haste, so the party here today has decided that that's their job, and they are here to save Frogo and tell him to get back to work by heading to Saltmarsh and speaking with Garthelmore. So before we get going, any I guess questions, things that people in the party want to bring up? Maybe we should just refresh the characters real quick to attach the voices with the names. So why don't we go back through the list here real quick and do your name and your character name and just a little bit about who you're playing here tonight. I came back and did a introduction, but I wasn't live into Discord. Now I am. None of that actually was relevant to you, though. I thought we would just do a real quick introduction of voices so we could refresh people who joined late or whatever, and then we're going to go with the final hour here of the show. So why don't we start with you, Gabby?
Okay, this is Lynn. I am playing Gabby, who is a halfling wizard spy, and is kind of down to cantrips now and a couple of first level spells, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, so I did give everyone a chance to do a short rest, so hopefully, a few things will be back. But you could try to take a long rest if you really wanted to.
I guess we'll see what the situation is, and then we might do that.
All right, Chomp. Who's Chomp?
Okay, this is Alex, aka Groupie, and I'm playing Chomp the Indigo. Indigo is because that is the color of his scales. He is a lizardman, or lizard folk, I guess, and is principally a warrior of his tribe.
All right, and then finally here we've got Chamomile.
Yep, I am Even Note. I am playing Chamomile, the halfling fighter who got to adventuring after being a pirate. Arr, mateys!
And at this point, you see your destination in sight, but it's in sight a long ways up. This big black line represents the wall that you will need to somehow get up. It is 20 feet upwards. You can't use a 10-foot pole on this one. Or could you? Could you do a high jump like a pole vault? You can go up to your height, you could try to do something. You can climb. How are you going to get up?
We could duct tape my pole and Chamomile's pole together and then shimmy up them.
Maybe. Well, you can Misty Step up if you're at the base. So you could Misty Step up. You do see two Lizardfolk Shaman kind of standing guard. You see a Lizardfolk person over by what's a campfire there. You see Frogo off in the cage, and you see maybe another sort of at least one Lizardfolk maybe wandering around up there.
What is this terrain?
This terrain is basically ash and dirt and mud and crud and smoke and soot and what have you. Apparently, at some point during these games, it was a common practice for people to have to run up and scale it while there was maybe some kind of lava, hot metal being thrown at them.
I thought maybe the ash was from Gabby's bonfires.
Could be.
Either way, it's basically a place where that's been blasted.
Well, that makes me feel a little wary.
Do we have anything to trade for him?
We have like 3 alligator corpses. Crocodile.
I don't think they're probably going to be too impressed by that.
I have a bag of sand.
I have a bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I put some weird things in your inventories, but ultimately you two had your own inventory, but I don't know that I've got anything. Like, I gave you some ointment, a metal tube, a medallion, a grappling hook, there, chamomile, a dungeoneer's pack. You have a crowbar, 10 feet of chain, a cape, 100 ball bearings, a bowl.
I was actually planning on using that grappling hook to get up this 20-foot wall.
Is there any kind of gate in the wall, or is all you can see wall?
Well, it is all you can see wall, but it is meant for scaling, so you can scale up it.
Okay.
With some skill.
That's the catch.
Or luck. Alright, let's approach. I do have some jewelry. It is, in fact, lizardman jewelry.
I mean, I don't know what kind of stuff these guys would want, but I mean, I've got this medallion just kind of taking up space in my backpack.
I can make it look real shiny for a minute.
That's not a bad idea.
Okay. You're going to try to parlay with the Lizardfolk Shaman.
Yep.
I assume you speak Lizardfolk?
I do. Am dressed like lizard folk.
But even you know that lizard folk don't really care if you're not from the same group of lizard folk. They're very territorial, and they don't really care about each other like that. That actually seems like a really bad idea to just try to parlay with the lizard folk.
Okay. Let's see. We could try and...
I mean, you could try to see if you've got something really nice for him or something like that. Or you could try to trick him, but... I mean, they see you, and they're going to start a roll for initiative here.
Okay.
Well, now I roll a 20.
Now you know how I felt last time.
All right, Gabriella, you're up.
What is this wall made of?
Stone. It's a rough stone wall, natural, that's been worn down over the years from many climbers, many hands, going up and down it. It's slick, but it's got handholds. If you know what you're doing, you can climb it.
And I'm trying to understand. So are they up on top of the wall? Is that how we can see them?
They are, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how are they like what are they? Do they have bows and arrows or
Well,
catapults?
you don't know, but they definitely have something they can do to attack you. Yes.
Okay. Ah. All right. Well, let's see.
If you want to make actually, have I ever? No, I can't have you move forward. Like you already moved
Oh,
this turn.
did
That
I?
was that movement you guys all did to get up there.
Ah, okay. Make a what check?
A perception check.
Perception.
Is that all of us, or just on
Yes.
our turns? Or
There's a big wall. That's a really big wall.
it's a very big wall.
No, none of you have seen anything yet. Okay. So, yes, that movement was getting you into place. I can't have you move because they would have attacked you a long time ago. But I'm going to say it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's your movement here. So, Gabriella, anything else you're going to do?
What is my range on bonfire? Yeah, I'm gonna plop a bonfire right in front of this lizard man and be like, "Give us the bullywug."
Okay. Yeah, it's not impressed.
Let me roll an intimidate. I rolled a 20 last time. Give us the bullywug.
I mean, it's surprised that you've made it all the way up and put a bonfire up there.
That's all I got.
I can never remember where the general numbers are. Frogo sees you and goes, ribbit, ribbit. Chamomile, you're up.
Okay, so Gabby, you said made it up to the top?
No, put a
No.
bonfire up there.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to just plop a little token somewhere? There we go. Thanks.
I think I'm going to move to the base of the wall and hold my action to see if anything attacks me.
Sorry, folks, I swallowed wrong. I swallowed water wrong on camera. Yeah, I'm back.
Oops. I'm just going to move to the base of this big wall and hold my action to see if anything attacks me or tries to make me choke on my water.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Yes. Sorry about that, folks. Yes. I was choking on some water I just drank. I went down the wrong thing, whatever. Oops.
Doesn't take much.
Yeah. Sure glad I had that on camera. At least partially. Keepers. Alright, so you're running up.
Yep, I'm going to stop here at the base of the wall because that basically uses my entire movement.
Okay, and then what you gonna do?
I'm going to hold my action to see if anything attacks me.
Okay.
So basically, I'm waiting to see what develops.
Alright. Well, the Lizardfolk Shaman is going to move over to the edge and cast Entangle on you.
Well, that's not very nice.
A
Not all
20-foot
Lizardfolk are
square
nice.
starting from a point within range, so
Isn't that entangling himself too?
Would be if it was on the bottom, but it's
Ah.
not. He's doing it on the bottom down there.
Ah. So
Have a
basically the
strength
whole
save
wall.
here,
Oh.
which you failed, and now you are restrained.
Okay, never mind.
All right. A different lizard folk runs up to the wall. And chucks a javelin at you, Chomp.
Okay.
That's a miss. The other lizard folk moves over there. And casts Spike Growth.
Hey, Champ, I don't like your relatives.
So there we go.
Hey, I don't know these.
Twists and
People.
sprouts, hard spikes and thorns, difficult terrain. Moving into it, you take 2d4 piercing damage for every 5 feet you travel. There you go.
Yeah, it's actually
Chomp,
pretty rough.
what you gonna do?
Good. Hold on a second. Cancel that. And I'm dashing to
You
climb the
sure
wall.
are, ba-dum-bump.
To start trying to climb the wall.
All right. So you make it to the wall, essentially.
Yeah, make it to the wall and probably have enough just to make like the first roll or whatever it's going to be. I won't be able to get up it, I don't think. But
Well, it would be forward movement up. So if you have another square of movement, then yeah, we can make that roll.
I do.
All right, 20 feet up. So, yeah, basically it's a DC 15 athletics check to keep your grip.
That's why I wanted to start rolling as fast as I could.
Yep, so there you go. And you were not able to get your grip on it.
Right.
The you see some movement from the back. Gabriella.
Okay, I am going to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on Lizardfolk Shaman number 1.
Cool.
And we'll see how that goes. So
It made it safe.
let's see. Wisdom save or fall prone. So is it save and nothing happens?
I believe so, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, bummer.
It hisses at you.
You're
It didn't
not
understand
laughing.
your joke.
Well, that's not unusual.
Humor's subjective.
And I will move over this way just a little.
All right. The lizard folk is going to grab another javelin, of which you notice there are a bunch over by the wall, and is going to try to attack Chamomile.
Well, that's really kind of crummy of him.
And misses.
Ha!
Chomp, you're up.
It's not called a defensive wall for no reason. Okay. Trying to climb.
All right, so yep, DC strength check or athletics.
Ooh.
And you just can't get a grip.
And I'm not a halfling, so that's that. And then I guess I'll make... So that'll be my movement action, and then I'll try again to dash as a second attempt. Does that sound all right?
Sure, that sounds all right.
Well, man.
Not doing it. Chamomile.
Okay, I am restrained. I am going to make a strength save and try to unrestrain myself. Ha!
Done.
Okay, in that case, I would like to... Would it be a bonus action or movement? Can I use my grappling hook to pull myself up to next to Lizardfolk Shaman number 1?
I'm going to... Here we go. I'm going to make the grappling hook a athletics check.
Okay.
And you made that as well.
Oh.
Congratulations. There you
that
go. So yeah, boom. You swing, boom, and it is right up there. No problem, out of the entangled.
Okay. And that's all I really get to do, isn't it?
Well, you'll get to the top at 20 feet, and then you've got another 10 foot, presumably.
And since I was not... I mean, I'm scrambling up, but I was not within his attack range, so I could safely move back 10 feet without provoking an attack of opportunity?
No, you're up right by the Lizardfolk Shaman.
Okay. I didn't know if I was sort of like... I landed there and just kept going. I didn't know if that would provoke an attack or not.
It would.
Okay. Good, that's it. That's my turn. And I mean, that was my action, so unless I want to use my, what's his face, not my second wind, my action surge, I can't attack now, correct?
Yes.
I don't want to use my action surge just yet. So that is it for me.
All right, you hear and start to see a particularly tough-looking lizard folk kind of back over by the cages. Okay, it is the Lizardfolk Shaman's one turn to attack you, Chamomile. And it gets a multi-attack.
Man!
That is a hit
Ooh. Ooh.
with a bite. And you are grappled and restrained. It has got you in its jaws. And it's not letting go. It follows up with a claw attack. And that is a hit
Ouch.
as well. Only 4 points of damage, however.
I just want to check one thing real quick. Ooh, I am pretty doggone damaged, aren't I? Okay, I would like to use parry. That is one of my combat superiority things. I'm going to use my reaction, expend 1 superiority die to reduce the damage by the number I roll plus my dex mod. So it's a 1d8.
That's a 5.
5 plus 2, so reduce my damage by 7.
Oh, nice. Okay. By 7?
By 7. Yep, 5 plus my dex mod is 2.
Nice. Alright, the other Lizardfolk Shaman turns around. Backs away a little bit. And is going to cast Entangle. Right there.
Which drops his spike growth, right?
Yep.
Ooh, good call.
Now, you need to make that strength save. I'll roll it on you. Fortunately, you failed it.
But
Which
it's a
she gets to
1.
reroll.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah, I am a halfling.
Hey, there you go. And I believe you made that, so...
Yeah, 18.
Frogo is rattling his cage. The lizard folk gets to go first.
By the way, Gabby and Chomp, if either of you guys want to get up here and help me, that would be really great.
Grabs a javelin and chucks it at you, Chamomile.
Sure would.
That is an
Hey.
unfortunate hit.
Does he? Am I still grappled? I thought I made my strength save. Why did he have advantage?
You're right.
What did he? Would he have? He would not have hit
No,
me.
you were grappled and restrained by the bite of the Lizardfolk Shaman 1.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
darn.
But you're right, there was one too many restrained on you. However, it's still a hit.
Ugh.
You were pierced for 5 points of damage.
I could say something, but okay. I need to make a strength check to get out of this, right?
Yes. Nice. There you go.
And man.
You've got the shaman right next to you. You should probably turn around
Yeah.
and attack it. Something.
Push him off the
Yeah,
edge.
I was just considering some
Yeah, you
kind
got
of
Thunder
healing,
Wave?
but I'm a fighter, so no. However, I am going to, well, let's see if I hit him first. I'm going to smack him with my great axe.
That's a miss, unfortunately.
Damn it. Can I do anything if I miss that would help right now? No. Okay. Sadly, that is it. Well. Oh man, I hate to do this. I'm going to use my action surge and attack him again.
All right. There you go.
I can't miss him twice in a row, can I?
Unfortunately, you
Well, that was a waste of
can.
an action surge.
That sucks, but yes.
Okay, that's totally, yeah, I'm totally done. Damn it. I had such plans.
Gabriella, your turn.
Alright, this time I'm gonna take the sure hit and magic missile this shaman.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
For
So that'll be 3 Constitution checks for see if it means concentration.
oh yeah.
It failed, so that it's failing its concentration. So There you go. All right, so you're at the wall.
So I have 10 more feet, so I guess...
Strength
Go
check.
ahead. Okay, that's not going to go well.
Or athletics check, actually.
Let's do athletics.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Athletics. I have acrobatics. Huh.
Fortunately, not enough to get up to DC 15. Chomp, your turn.
Is the grappling hook still hanging, dangling there, well
Yes.
planted?
Yes.
Okay. I'm
Oh, I
gonna
forgot about that.
go up that grappling hook.
Help!
What do I need for that?
You just need to climb up.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll take you up to the top, because you move 10, so you've done 30 feet of movement, I believe, right?
Yep. To get
Cool.
right there.
Mhm.
Keen.
It made you really angry, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with tail.
All right. Go for it. That is a hit.
Yay!
14 points of damage, critical damage, against the Lizardfolk Shaman.
Yay!
You have anything else? Nope. Lizardfolk Shaman 2 has currently cast that Entangle and is going to produce flame on... can it reach? It can reach you, Chomp.
Probably.
That's a miss. Alright, let's see, where did this guy go? The mercenary? Yep. He starts to see what's up, and he's going 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And is running forward, but is not going to put himself immediately into danger. You see that is a particularly tough-looking lizard folk. Probably the head of this group. Got a big trident as well. And the Shaman 1 is going to... I'm giving myself a second to look up a possibility. Alright, is going to cast Fog Cloud. It's a 20-foot radius sphere. There you go. Casts Fog Cloud and is going to use Obscurity to escape your grasp and get out over to the boss.
Was that the same shaman who cast the Entangle?
Yep.
That I am currently entangled in? So
No, the
entangle-
Lizardfolk Shaman 2 is the one that did the Entangle.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'd have to be that way. Because
And Lizardfolk
one
Shaman
had lost
1.
his concentration already.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Chomp, you're in a foggy cloud.
Alright, well, I do know where this fire right next to me is, so I'll
Yep.
use it. 5, 10, 15. 20.
Maybe like 25 there. Okay. Yeah.
30. And then I'll dash.
You still have 10 feet if you want it. There you go.
Since I'm dashing anyway.
All right. The lizard folk sees you dashing and is going to run up and attack you with its multiple attack.
Okay.
Gonna bite. And was that because you're enraged?
Yeah, and I'm going to use my reaction.
Does that do it?
It still hits.
Okay. So you take 4 points of damage. Not that bad. And then for its second attack, it's going to attack with a javelin. Or basically a club, actually.
And I reduce the damage because I'm raging.
And that is a hit unless you do something about it.
Can't do anything about it. I used my reaction. So.
All right. So partially resisted 6. You took 3 damage.
Right.
Chamomile.
I am going to drink one of my potions of healing, which is
2d4 plus 2.
2d4 plus. Wow, I get 6 points back.
All right. Well, you get 6 points back.
Can I also then make a strength check to become ungrappled and restrained?
You aren't anymore.
Oh, I'm not. Okay.
Because it moved away. It cast fog cloud and moved away.
Okay. In that case, it doesn't do nearly as much damage. For some reason, it says I have 0 ammo, but I actually have 20. I have arrows. I think I'm going to fire my trusty longbow at... Actually, who do I want to fire it at? What do you guys think? Regular lizard folk or the shaman?
The damaged shaman.
Okay.
Looks the most wounded. Oh, nice. There's a hit. I think that's going to do it. No, not quite, huh?
The concentration check.
Oh, yeah. Does he lose his concentration? He's damaged.
It didn't proc one, so I don't think fog cloud is a concentration spell.
It is. It might just not have had the effect on there.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, let me roll a d20 then.
It does indeed say concentration. Up to 1 hour.
Okay, it fails a concentration check then. There you go.
So, no more fog cloud?
Yep.
Well, I accomplished something.
Yeah, you
and,
did.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit here for now.
All right, Gabriella.
Oh, shoot. I shot at the wrong shaman. Oops.
No, that's the right one.
Well, I
Yeah,
was
that-
ranging. I could have done either one.
So,
But the other one looks more damaged.
is this about where the grappling hook is? I can't
Yeah.
remember. Okay, so that was 15, and then
You would need 35 to get up all the way to the top.
I'm just gonna stop here, but I can see Lizardfolk Shaman number 1 from here, right?
Not really. You're
No,
right on
not.
the lip. I mean, you kind of can. You're about 5-6 feet from the edge. So not quite. Not really.
Okay. Well, in that case, I will just go ahead and use extra movement and just get up to the top.
Okay. That would actually take you. You would have another 25 feet if you want it. If you're doing a full dash action.
Are these barrels? What's going on here?
Yep, just barrels and debris and rocks. See some tents there.
All right, I'll kind of get between the barrel and the mercenary guy.
All right, sounds good. Unless you got a
Alright,
bonus action
cover.
or something.
I don't at this point, no.
All right, Lizardfolk Shaman 2 then is going to do a multi-attack on Chomp.
Okay.
The bite is going to miss, and the claws. And that's a miss. Lizardfolk Shaman 1 is not feeling very good, and wants to back away, but then gets pushed forward by the mercenary boss, kind of stumbles forward, and casts Flame Whip at Chamomile. And misses. Alright, now, the main guy brings up his trident and comes barreling around the barrels, looking at you, Gabriella, with a trident attack.
Don't.
That is a miss, and then it's going to follow up with a bite.
That's not sanitary.
It is not. That is a hit. A bite right through... What are you wearing for armor?
Something. I'm sure. Let's see.
I'm guessing clothes.
I'm wearing a really snazzy outfit.
Alright, well, bites into your outfit doing 4 points of damage.
Oh, I think I've got
Totally not sanitary.
I think I've got some sewing thread in my kit. We'll fix the outfit for you afterwards.
Okay. Gosh, now he's right up on me.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm actually going to ignore him because he's right up on me because this is ranged, and I'm going to fire at Shaman 1. Well, poop.
That's a miss.
I'm just not doing nothing with this Ray of Frost. Oh well.
Chomp, you're up.
Alright. My bonus action, I'm going to make my Hungry Jaw attack at this Folk Shaman number 2.
Okay. That's a hit. For 9 points of damage.
That makes me feel better. Then I'll hit him.
You are now reckless.
Yep.
Alright, that's another hit. And it is down.
Woohoo!
Bum, bum. Another one bites dust.
Alright, the boss is faced off with you, Gabriella, and is going to continue the attack.
This isn't the best for me.
A second hit bite. Maybe you are kind of tasty.
Well, of course.
Gnawing on your shoulders. You take another 6 points of chew damage. It follows up with a claw attack. Actually, follows up with a trident attack to try to gut you.
I need my guts.
Ooh, natural 20.
Oh boy. See
That's
if I
not
can
gonna
go
go
for 3. If I can go for 3 downs.
It gouged your eye, apparently.
Yee.
I mean, you might not notice.
Hey, Chamomile, do you have a pirate eye patch in your bag?
You only
I
took 5
do.
points of damage, though.
Nice. I mean, you're blind, but
Yeah.
still.
All right, the lizard folk sees you chomp and attacks twice. Again, biting. Missing. And following up with a club attack. And that is a hit.
Miss.
A miss. Like I said, use your ability again to put it above the AC. Okay. Lizardfolk Shaman 1 really wants to get out of there and sees the opportunity with the boss gone to run away. Starts climbing down the wall. Frogo is looking pretty happy and is starting to hop up and down. Chamomile, what's up?
Well, it looks like Gabby needs help more than Chomp does, so... is this... I forget what this red area was. Was that fog cloud or something?
That is an entangle effect. Although Shaman, that'll be gone with Shaman 2's
Okay.
death.
Okay, so there's nothing preventing me from stepping up
Correct.
and taking a whack at the mercenary boss.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to step up. And swing my mighty great axe.
With a miss, unfortunately.
Nope, only a 1, not a 2. Well, damn. Crap. Let me just... Can I do this and should I do this? What sort of creature misses me? I'm talking to myself. No, there's nothing I can do if I miss. Only if they miss me. Okay, I'm done.
All right, no problem. We are up to the top of the order. Lizardfolk Shaman is down and out, unless anyone's going to try to stop him, which presumably you won't. Gabriella, you're up.
I am moving my bonfire right under mercenary boss.
All right.
Ooh.
That's damage, right? Or, yeah.
I believe so.
Dex of 13 is probably not going to cut it.
Freshly grilled lizard.
1 point of burned butt damage.
And hopefully he'll move.
And it procs at the end of his turn if he's in it.
I mean, somebody lit a fire under my butt, I would definitely move.
Chomp, you're up.
That's why it's a saying.
You've got a lizard folk right in front of you at full health. Or, yeah, full health. Somewhat less full health after that hit of 22 modified. 11 points of damage. Pretty good. And the lizard folk is going to return fire. With a bite attack. That is a hit.
Misses.
No, okay. And is going to follow up with a club attack.
Which you can't do anything about.
That is a hit. Ooh, rolled a 6, so 8 points of damage, except you took 0 because partially absorbed. How'd you take 0?
Because I ate his shaman.
Oh, that's right, you got those temporary hit points from the other thing. Okay, right. Alright, the mercenary boss is finding himself kind of under attack here. Let's see what this does. Alright, it's going to turn to you, Gabriella, and attempt to skewer you with its trident. And that is a miss.
Oof. So if he doesn't move, then he gets more damage from the fire.
Yeah.
Which...
And is going to follow up with a bite attack. And that is a hit. Oh no, 8 points of damage and you are down. I assume that means the bonfire is gone.
Yep.
Probably, yes. My third time down tonight. Woohoo!
Alright, well that was pretty successful as far as that boss is concerned, so that's that. Chamomile,
Okay.
you just saw that right in front of you, literally right in front of you.
I'm debating something here. Debating between a couple of things.
You can use an action to give Gabriella a potion of healing.
Ooh, I will do that. Do I use one of mine or one of hers? Or
One of yours.
okay. I will use my last potion of healing, and I will give that to Gabriella.
Alright, so roll 2d4 plus 2. Alright.
9.
9 points. Very nice.
Thank you.
And did I use my...
Let me look it up quick, but I'm pretty sure you only get that second action surge once per long rest, right?
Yep. Thought it was anyway. I've already used it, so. But I am going to use my.
No, it says you
second
can finish a short or a long rest before you can use it again.
But I already used it since the rest.
Oh, okay.
I used it and yeah.
Okay.
But I can use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus my fighter level, which I think I should do. Oh, 18 hit points. Excellent. Oh, wait, no, 11 hit points. Duh.
Alright, you're at full health.
Yay. And that's the end of my second wind, and that is my turn.
Alright, the Lizardfolk is up next, going to attack you, Chomp. With a bite attack that is, well... Why didn't that roll? It's because I had control down? Oh no, there we go. Okay. That is a 21.
That'll hit.
Okay. Oop. So that's all but 1 point absorbed. It's going to follow up with a heavy club attack. And that is also a hit on a 20.
Yep.
That is 5 points of damage. So you just keep getting kind of bit and clawed and plugged, just bam, bam with a club on the side. Starting to hurt. Gabriella, you once again briefly witnessed death, but are back in action and ready to go. What you gonna do?
Well, I guess I'm gonna pop that bonfire up under him again. Leave me alone.
I mean, at the risk of maybe TMI, can she actually, like, sort of reach up his butt and really get it in there and roast him from the inside out?
Blunk. And I'm not going to back up because that would give him an attack of opportunity, so...
My fantasy groans is being slow. Here we go.
Okay, I am going to swing my mighty great axe at this.
No, before we do that, let's resolve the bonfire.
Oh, right.
Did it get its saving throw?
Does it get a saving throw?
Yep. Gabby, roll a save on it. Unless you want me to do it.
I did, but it didn't. Yeah, you're
Oh, okay.
probably going to have
Yeah.
to.
There we go. Okay, it failed the save. So, it takes how much damage?
6.
All right. Very unhappy with this. Chamomile, now you're up.
Okay, I am swinging my mighty great axe at the mercenary boss here.
All right, there you go. In true DDO fashion, going after the boss first. And that is a hit.
Well, he's standing right there. Okay, since that is a hit, I'm going to use my second to last superiority, and I'm going to make a pushing attack.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to damage him. Okay. And then I'm going to damage him some more, if you could add 4 more to that. And then he needs to make a strength saving throw. If he fails, and I'm sure he is large or smaller, if he fails, he needs to move 15 feet back.
And that is, the DC on that is presumably higher than 12. So I'm going to say fails. And gets pushed back. So basically pushes off the ledge. Yeah.
Yes!
Oh, sweet.
I'm going to say it is a Lizardfolk boss, though. I'm going to give it a chance to have a dex save to grab onto the edge. It's a Lizardfolk.
Sure, I've got to be pro Lizardfolk.
Yeah, and that is a miss, though, so it does scrabble down all the way to the ground and clunk.
Does
Hey,
he take
two
fall damage?
2d6 more fall damage.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
All right, roll 2d6. All right, 5 points of damage as well.
Excellent.
And I think that is my turn.
All right, Chomp, you're up.
All right, buddy.
That's a hit at a 19 modified. For 8 points of damage and critical damage. This one's almost dead.
Yep.
The mercenary guy backs up and tries to chuck a trident at you, Chamomile. And misses.
Meh.
Chamomile, you're up.
Okay, so he's way down there.
Within walking distance, or melee distance. You can get up there.
To this one that's down here on the ground?
Oh no, but the one that's to your south.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I am going to... Whoops. I'm going to not hold down my control key. I'm going to move up here. Swing my mighty great axe.
All right, that is a hit.
Big money, big money. Yes!
And it is down. All right. With that, the mercenary boss realizes there are no more leaders to be had, or no more people to delegate with. He's the last one standing. And runs out of the area, leaving you to free Frogo, the bullywug, from his cage.
Yay, Frogo.
What are you going to tell Frogo?
Frogo! Let's get you back to safety. Also, would you like to reward us? Because, I mean, I see this chest over here.
I mean, I think
And
we're
I was a
taking this
pirate.
chest over here.
Yeah, there's a chest there.
Is it locked?
It is.
Frogo, I do believe you are a rogue.
Yes, Frogo. This is why Frogo get captured. was trying to get into this chest. It has a treasure, but the treasure is tricky.
How is it tricky?
So Frogo opens the chest and pulls out what appears to be a bag. He says, "This bag tricky. If you pull the wrong thing, it can kill you."
Could we get one of those running away lizard folk back here to reach into it?
No.
It's worth a thought.
De-raging.
I mean, I've died 3 times already, so what could go wrong? I can reach in if y'all want.
All right, roll a d8.
Hang on. I don't have any potions of healing left.
I have 1.
Okay. You know, might as well give you the best chance possible, right?
Well, we're almost done here. All right, so you roll a 7. So a giant hyena.
No, I think she
Comes-
was.
oh.
That was. I think she was healing herself.
Oh, you're healing yourself.
No, never mind. That was
No,
nope,
that
okay,
was
never mind.
the D8. Yeah.
All right, yeah. A giant
giant
hyena comes ripping out of the bag, and that is where tonight's session will end.
Ah!
Does he look friendly?
No.
Oh.
But, this was how Frogo got freed. Frogo is now freed. So I guess that's a tale for another day here. How they, what you did after Frogo was freed.
Hey,
so.
Frogo, why don't you just stuff this guy back in that cage you were in, and we're gonna book out of here.
See ya.
All right. We're going to wrap things up here. Let me give everyone a chance to sort of plug whatever they want to plug and say any kind of final thoughts here. Why don't we start with you, Chamomile Even?
Yeah, I am Even Note, aka Chamomile, and I, at the moment, do not have anything to plug.
All right. Lynn, you want to go next?
Sure. You can see me. I'll be on next week on Oracle of War that Patrick is running, as well as Rime of the Frost Maiden that Alex over here runs. And we are a little bit in flux with our store because the .com place that we were on, but you can find us on Etsy at the Amethyst Dragonfly at Etsy.com.
All right. Very nice. Anything you want to add, Groovy?
Not really. That covers most of it. Other than you can also check me out when I'm on Twitch under Twitch TV Groovy, and same for my Twitter account.
All right. Sounds good. And D&D Night on DDOstream is every Sunday night, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. New DMs every week. I'll be back for the 3rd Sunday rotation, so that should be the 3rd Sunday in September, unless someone else steps forward and wants to DM or what have you. And I think then I would probably pull back my slot for a little bit to give someone an opportunity to do it. But this has been a lot of fun doing this one-off here. For this August, I want to thank everyone for watching and thank Fantasy Grounds for being a sponsor. And thank you for being on twitch.tv/DDOstream in general. Normally this is Dungeons & Dragons Online. We have Salt Marsh that just came out. And you can find out more about that on DDO.com. Have a great night, everyone. Talk to you again soon.
Night, everybody.
Good night,
Thanks.
everyone.